Welcome to day 61 of our school year. Beginning of a new row. All right, so let's get down our beginning fraction. We have a total of 180 school days, so that's our denominator, and we're on day 61. So first we want to look at that numerator and decide if it's prime or composite. Well, it doesn't end in an even number, so that doesn't help me out. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 is not a multiple of 3, so 3 is not a factor. 5 wouldn't be, 7 wouldn't be. I think it may be prime. Yes, it is. So since it is prime, that means I only need to do my prime factorization for my denominator because my numerator's already done. That's the only prime number I can divide by. So here it's even, so I can divide by 2. Half of 18 is 9, and then I have my placeholder. I can divide by 3 here. I can get 30 groups of 3 out of 90. I can divide by 3 again. I get 10 groups of 3 out of 30. I can divide by 2. I get 5. 5 is prime, so we're done. We list our prime factorization. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. We put it in order from least to greatest. And then the numerator is just 61. It's the only prime number I can divide by. Is there anything in common in our numerator and denominator? Nope. So that means our greatest common factor is 1. So let's make our groups of 1. Done. How many total groups of 1 do we have? 180. How many are shaded in? 61. Okay, so we still want to prove it with our algorithm, just to show we can prove it in more than one way. So I'm dividing 180 by 1 and 61 by 1. See, 100 times 1 is 100. Numbers the same, zeros a game. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zeros a game. I can take more groups of 1 out of 80, so I'm going to bring it up here. 1 times 80 is 80. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add these partial quotients. 100 plus 80 is 180. Down here, I'm going to do 60 times 1 is 60. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zeros a game. I can take a group of 1 out of 1, so I'm going to keep going. 1 times 1 is 1. Numbers the same, zeros a game. Add these partial quotients together, I get 61. Now we're going to check divisor times quotient plus remainder. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. Since our remainder for both of these is 0, and the identity property of addition says when you add 0, it stays the same, we don't need to actually add 0. But what we end up with here, and why the groups of 1 work the way they do, is we have the identity property of multiplication here, which says when you multiply by 1, it stays the same. So 61, that matches my dividend here. 180 matches my dividend, my dividend here, check. So my numerator is definitely 61. My denominator is definitely 180. So let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. All right, finally we are now into trimester 2, week 1. Today is 11/4/19, and our fraction for today 61 180th. 61 is prime. It is not a factor of 180, so our only our only common factor is 1, and making groups of 1. Here we have 61 180th. There's nothing lined up below it because it is our simplest form, our equivalent fraction in lowest terms. Okay, go ahead and erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.